We are the ones who don't know what we're fighting for. Give us a gun and send us all off to war. We are the ones who grow up in violent homes. We are the ones who don't know what's right or wrong. I know. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No more. We are the ones who don't know why we're losing score. Give them a badge so they can send us to the morgue. We are the ones who are scared to walk out the door. We are the ones who don't know what we're dying for. I know. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck. No. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more. No. Get off his fucking neck. The man makes you no He can't fucking breathe. The man makes you no We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck. No. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who were born into war. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones who just don't give a fuck no more.
Warning: this podcast features adult subject matter, adult language, and things not meant for children to hear. Viewer discretion is advised. You've been warned. If it's Thursday, you're tuned into the only podcast that leaves you with more questions than answers. Like, am I more of a booba or a kiki? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of appropriate ages, to the latest episode of the I'm No Joe podcast, the show where every armchair quarterback can feel like Eddie Bravo. I am your hostess with the mostest. The meter does many things, and with me, like always, is the glorious panel here to help you break down all the shit talking shenanigans, the fight announcements, and fuckerities that have all been splurted out into the MMA world since we saw you wonderful folks last. Before we get into all that fun and fuckery, though, first off, gentlemen, how you doing over there?
Well, we're here. A little tired, but we're here.
We'll take it.
I feel that. I'm glad we're getting close to the end of the week here, but I'm glad we get some fights back. Hopefully this fucking fight night turns out to be a good one.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, with that being said, we are going to jump right in here the way that we like to do, with a little bit of news and recent events, fight announcements, fight cancellations, official rumor confirmations, and denials, things of that nature that have happened in the MMA world since we saw you wonderful folks last. Not a ton to talk about, but we do have a couple of interesting things that did deserve mentioning here. First off, we do have to tie back to the fight night that happened a couple of weeks ago now, since we've had our break. Four of the fighters on that fucking fight night missed weight, and 2 of them missed by 5 pounds each. Just absolute fucking craziness. That being said, the other real big one from the last week or 2 weekends ago now, hours before the fight night started, Saeed Nurmagomedov pulled out of the fights, and a gentleman by the name of Gianni Vasquez got to make his debut on short notice. He is, ironically, one of the fighters that showed up 5 pounds overweight, but it was literally a couple hours notice, and not everybody's Dan Ige, so, you can't be too mad at that. Understandable, but still put on a hell of a performance. Was an interesting fight night overall. That being said, once the fight night was done, we also did get another UFC roster update. And despite winning the fight, I say with air quotes for those of you just listening, the UFC still released several fighters from that event. Lucas Almeida was released, Alex Morono was released, and Javid Bashir officially released from the UFC. Now, as is the case with most of these releases, most of them fought out the end of their contracts and still have the option to be re-signed. But as of right now, they do not have an active contract with the UFC. So it will be interesting to see how how at least 2 of those 3 gentlemen do moving forward. That being said, we did get an announcement this week that UFC 326 coming up in just a couple weeks on March 7th will be dual broadcast Paramount Plus and on CBS for the prelims and the early prelims, kind of like they did with ESPN Plus for pay-per-views. They're going to dual broadcast the prelims and early prelims, and then the main card portion of the quote-unquote numbered event will just be on Paramount Plus then after that. We did also get an interesting kind of last-minute fight added to that card as well. Drew Dober will be taking on Michael Johnson at that March 7th UFC 326 card as well. Couple of other quick things to run down here. UFC Seattle is coming up in just a couple of weeks, and we did get official confirmation this week. The reason that Michael Chiesa wanted to make sure that he got a fight on that Seattle card is because it is officially going to be his retirement fight, win, lose, or draw. He has already confirmed it. This is why it was so important to him that he got a fight on this card. Understandably, he's from the Seattle area. He wants to retire at home. He has absolutely earned that right at this point. Michael Chiesa has been there, done that, got the trophy to show for it, literally. So I have absolutely no issue with him deciding to hang it up at home. 2 more quick things to run down. The first one, kind of a weird one, but it has definitely started to pick up a little bit of steam in the last couple of days. May 16th on Netflix, Ronda Rousey versus Gina Carano, the fight that everyone wanted 15 years ago, is officially going to be taking place at 145 pounds, put on by the Most Valuable Clowns promotion. So it's probably going to be some sort of a tax scandal. But ironically enough, Ronda herself has done a couple of interviews this week and said that they offered this fight to Dana White and the UFC first. Dana White turned it down, said that he wishes them the best of luck, but he didn't want anything to do with this fight itself, which is how they ended up where they did. I do not have a lot of high hopes for this, but it is officially a thing now. So we'll have to see how that comes about as we get a little closer to that date. But I did want to end on a positive note this week. We got some good news that we can close out my fucking news section with for a change, and that is long overdue because we usually don't have enough good news to go around in this section here. But we've got one this week. If you have not seen it by now, I encourage you to go look at the fucking outpouring of shows about it on social media right now. Kane is officially home. Kane is free. He is home. That fucking ordeal is done. Finally, fucking finally. We're obviously not going to go over the whole fucking story here right now, but if you don't understand why it is so important that Kane is home right now, I encourage you to take 5 minutes once the show's over and just Google Kane Velasquez. You'll find everything you need to know in those links, I promise. That being said, that's what I've got for this week. Either one of you gentlemen have anything I'm going to miss?
Nada.
When you were talking about releases, you mentioned the big one, Halton Almeida, or you
Yeah.
forgot to mention the big one, Halton Almeida. They did that shit again. It was what,
Oh,
Martin
shit.
Dudai last year?
Yeah, that's right. I wrote down Lucas Almeida and forgot to write down Gilton. Son of a bitch. I doubled over the last name.
Yeah, top five heavyweight fucking got can't. I'm not upset about it because the dude's looked like shit his last few fights.
Right.
If you're
Yeah.
not wanting
It's
to fuck yourself and
understandable.
fight, get the fuck out of here. But
Yeah, but at the
heavyweight
same
is a
time,
trash can in itself at this point for sure.
somebody said over the weekend, I can't remember what fucking show it was, but I was watching one of the MMA podcasts this weekend, and somebody actually pulled up the full fucking UFC roster of heavyweights, and there's 32 prior to this weekend, 31 now with Jailton Almeida gone. There's only 31. Like at one point, there were more female featherweights than there are male heavyweights right now in the UFC. That is just a fucking mind-boggling statement unto itself. So we'll see where we go from there. Um, that being said, though, that brings us to the point in the show where if you've been watching combat sports as long as some of us have been watching combat sports, you start to learn what you like to watch and when it comes on and how to watch it. And you start to develop a set of blinders, if you will. You start to lose the forest for the trees, metaphorically. Lucky for us here on the show, we've got ourselves a bona fide young person out there diligently and delicately fingering the pulse of the MMA world for us to help keep us abreast of all the names that are going to be big names before they are big names in a little segment that we call Slows, Cans, and Contenders.
Appreciate you, brother. So for the next 2 weeks, there's going to be a lot of UFC debuts, contractual obligations, and all that bullshit. I mentioned earlier when we started up. Hopefully, this weekend's a good fight night. We've only had 3 so far this year after a fucking 6 week layoff, and then they give us another fucking week off. I'm jonesing for good fights. Last year sucked as a whole. You know, I'm still waiting for the moment where the MMA gods pull that dick out of our ass just a little bit, just ease up on it a little bit. Um, it's not happening this week though. Hopefully, towards the end, we get those good fights. It feels like it's easing up, but you can throw the majority of this card in the shitter. There really are a lot of fights that, just as a whole, I'm just like not entertained by the thought of at all. There's some fighters, I guess I'm looking forward to seeing how they fare. But man, there's a whole entire sack of prelims, is a giant sack of shit. The Edwards and Cornole fight is a gigantic sack of shit. So these are the ones we're going to touch on. The glaring sacks of shit here. Yeah, Jocelyn Edwards, Nora Cornole. That's awful. Those two chicks. I don't want to be mean, but really, they're too fat to make any other weight class other than bantamweight. They just don't stay in shape. They don't take it seriously. Cornole, I think, is in her mid 30s. Yeah, 36. Fucking Edwards is 30. Uh, she got her ass kicked around since she got in the UFC. This is just not a fun one at all. You got another lady on this card. It's probably going to get laid the fuck out, and that'll be the only decent part of it. I'm excited to see the other side of that. Carly Judice and how she does. Juliana Miller, though, has already been proven. She didn't need to be on the Ultimate Fighter years ago. She definitely didn't deserve a fucking contract in the UFC, whether she won the Ultimate Fighter or not. I think she's only had 3 technical fights since the Ultimate Fighter in the UFC over the past, I would say, 3 years. I think it was 2022, that fucking year that they had her in the Ultimate Fighter. So that's insane. Now we're in 2026. Almost 4 fucking years. You have nothing to show for it. She hasn't even gotten better, like growing in any aspect or getting better at MMA. So that one's gonna be a giant pile of shit as well. You got a few brothers here. I enjoy Jeff Neal, but it's just the truth. I think Mr. Neal is at the end of the career. He's been a fun fighter. He's had a decent career, but he's always been a middle of the pack guy, a guy with some power in his hands, but nothing too fucking crazy. Phil Rowe, he was a kid that could have potentially had some potential, but he shat all over it a few different too many times, and he's had a couple of decent moments. But a round 3 save the day knockout against Angelusa the other year. It's nothing to look towards. I think he might get worked over by I think that Lebesnyani kid is a Philly guy. I think I'm right. I know he's up there in Northeast, but he looked okay on the Contender Series. We'll see how that kid does. But Phil Rowe, another one in the shitter. O'Day Osborne, another guy in the shitter. This dude has been absolute dog shit. The majority of his UFC career is 1-4 in his last 5 fights. And then that fight as a whole, probably not going to be the greatest. The kid that he's fighting is the kid that lost on the or not Contender Series, fucking Ultimate Fighter last year. He's a Kazakh, but he's more that grappling guy. He hasn't shown the excitement that we got out of Shavkat. Throwing that one in the trash. And the last fucking one that I got to throw in the garbage here is the Michelle Pereira and Zach Reese fight. Zach Reese is shown he can maybe have some power in his hands, but the dude's not a good fighter. I don't like the dude's personality. He's one of those assholey kind of personalities that we've gotten, similar to Charlie Radke. That's who I think about a lot when I think about Zach Reese, and then Michelle Pereira, the dancing, backflipping, the fucking weird shit. They got on an 8 fight winning streak, and then somehow fucking forgot how to fight. So, not looking forward to that one as a whole. They do have some contender shit stuff on the fence. The Carlos Leal and Injaquani fight, I got that on the fence. Those two dudes with fucking power in their hands, we might see a fucking finish. Other than that, is on the fence for a fucking reason. Because if one of them don't put the other out, it's nothing to fucking really look forward to. And Carlos Leal, dude in his mid-30s who just got knocked the fuck out by Muslim Salikov in his last fight. So really on the fence for that one. Soriano, Brahimaj, I got that one on the fence because both of them are coming off of 3 fight fucking winning streaks, looking like they figured something out, but I still don't believe in it. That either one of them are going to have a real run, have really figured anything out, or are about to work towards contendership. This is just potentially an okay fight, right? That's why I'm putting it on the fence. Two guys on a good winning streak that might go after each other, might turn out to be okay. Then you got the Spivak and Delija fight because we need some fucking heavyweight excitement. And Delijah's got some power in his fucking hands. That situation of his last fight with Acosta was fucking kind of fucky. The eye pokes have been a real serious problem lately. We just know it. It is really apparent, and it keeps getting worse. But Spivak's just not that good. He's going to try to grapple. If the grappling doesn't work, he's probably going to get put out. So that one's on the fence. It might, and it's on the fence because with everything heavyweight nowadays, we might get 15 fucking minutes of 300-pound dudes hugging the shit out of each other, and that's not a good time. So the contenders, the true good moments that I'm looking forward to. I mentioned the Alibi Idris kid. We'll see what he can do, but he lost on the Ultimate Fighter. Like I mentioned, there's some potential. I like the Kazakhs. Carly Judice, a young lady with some power in her fucking hands. I'd like to see what she continues to do. She's looked good in her last couple outings. Uros Medic finally getting a fucking chance to crack into some rankings. I like that. I like me some fucking doctor. So we're looking towards that one, especially him getting Jeff Neal. That one could be fun. Just those two. We know those two are going to try to tear each other's heads off. That one could be a fun one. Same kind of thing with Melly versus Dan Ige. That's probably one of the fights I'm looking forward to the most here because this is the final real test for Melik Wizal Costa. You get in the gatekeeper. How do you fare against Mr. Ige? If you fare well, you're ready for top 15 opponents, right? This is the test. So this is the good one here. He's been looking good. He's been getting through some decent names, working his way up in featherweight. I'm excited to see how that one shakes out. You got the Del Valle and Jordan Levitt fight. Jordan Levitt, he's a weird guy. He's got a weird personality. But he can have moments where he knows how to fight, and he damn sure knows how to grapple. And he's looked okay in his last couple outings. I'm not like steering away from him as a fighter or that fight in Del Valle looked good in his last go. We might have a Cuban contender. So we'll see how that fight. And it's also interesting that Levitt fucking went down to featherweight. He's normally fighting at lightweight, so the fact he's coming down for this, interesting things here. We'll see how it goes. One I got to hype up the most, Jacoby Smith. This kid to me has true fight. I said it fucking last year. The kid hasn't gotten a fight enough yet. That's the only damn thing. But that dude, being a national champion wrestler from Oklahoma State, having DC in his back pocket already. Now DC's opened up his own gym. They're fucking actually training together. The kid's fucking continued to work on his overall game. And he's got immense power in his fucking hands. We've seen some cool stuff from him already, but we haven't got to see a lot of him in the UFC. I want to see what he fucking does this weekend. This is the hand me fight. He was supposed to have somebody that's actually fought in the UFC before. The dude fucking pulls out. Now he fucking gets a nobody that they just pulled out of the hat this fucking week. Kid's undefeated, but I think Jacoby Smith has everything written in spotlights for they're putting you on the main card. This is your opportunity to get yourself known. And the main event. Only goddamn reason I'm going to show up on Saturday. Because we got two crazy motherfuckers that are going to run the fuck out of their mouths and are going to fight for the entirety of that fight until that fucking bell dings or rings, till they are ripped away from each other. They're going to keep going at it. Now, Sean Strickland, he is not the dude that he says he is every fight. He spends 25 minutes jabbing and teeping, but he's willing to get into a fight. He's not the greatest fighter in the world, but dude's tough as fucking nails, talks fucking shit, and doesn't run away from a fucking fight. He keeps that goddamn Philly shell. He's gonna roll his fucking shoulder and he's gonna keep fucking fighting. And if Fluffy keeps that shit standing, it's gonna be a fun time. Now, the way I look at it, Fluffy's got great ground game, might be over real quick. But we've also known for years Sean can wrestle. He can fucking grapple. He just does not like that shit. So I view it. Hopefully the fight will be that Sean uses his grappling enough to keep the shit standing, and we get a nice barn burner fight for the first fucking time this year. Because the only one that we really had that was great was the Patty Gaethje fight. Like, it was, you got to be honest. The Volk fight was fun to see, but that was just dominance for 5 fucking rounds. That was not a fucking fight. So let's get us a nice fucking back and forth slobber knocker. That's what I'm hoping for this weekend. I hope you boys agree with most of what I had to say. I'd like to hear if you got any other things that I missed, but as a whole, it's going to be a shit one. Hopefully, it turns out to polish the turd.
This is one of those few times where I can say I think you absolutely nailed it. You actually called the shitbags and didn't try to polish the turd. I'm very fucking excited about that. Well done. You deserve to attaboy and pat yourself on the back for that. Because to be honest, this is one giant pile of shit.
I'll blame it on I just turned 30 last week. And I'm getting old now.
One of us. One of us.
Finally, you're turning the corner and turning into a realist. Not an optimist, but a realist. I'm not saying that we're pessimistic here, but we're realists here. Because, there's a fucking difference between being a pessimist and a realist. I'm just real about this shit. How many fucking weeks are we into the year? This will be week 7 into the year now. And we've gotten one decent card so far. And the rest of this has been just fed shit to us. To be fair, I knew that was going to happen. And I knew we were not going to get the same level of cards that we were getting before when there were pay-per-views available. Now, because the pay-per-view model is extinct, and I'm putting that in air quotes because you bet your ass this White House card, they are going to make you pay for those 7 fucking fights that are going to be on that, or was it 5? I don't know, it's like 5 or 7 is what they said what the total amount was going to be. It's very small, but guaranteed it's going to be something you pay for. We're not going to get it free on Paramount. I will almost fucking guarantee that. But anyhow, because that model has died by the wayside, we're not getting these great stacked cards or halfway decent throw up cards. To be fair, there are some decent fighters on this that are worth watching. The one where I will say I completely disagree, and it's purely a standpoint of fuck DC, fuck Jacoby Smith. If you're training with DC, fuck you too. I just don't like DC. Then that's just being honest. There's nothing against Jacoby Smith other than he's fucking stupid. Go to Dagestan 3-4 years and forget. That's all he's got to do. Spivak, yes, has looked like absolute dog shit. He is not the polar bear that we thought he was. I am excited to see 50K Ige again, though. That dude's always puts on a show and will go out on with his sword, not on his shield, but with his sword in hand. He's not one of those fighters that'll just kind of shell up. I will say my can tender this week is Jordan Levitt, because he is hit or fucking miss. The dude is a fucking weirdo. And I mean that in the nicest fucking way possible, but he's fucking odd. He's one odd duck. But the dude has a lot of fighting potential. He seems to have a pretty good fight IQ from time to time. And I say from time to time because there's some times where I've watched his fights and I'm going, that didn't seem like you what you were doing there. Like he spent too much time podcasting and not enough fucking time training. Because to be fair, he does have a podcast with a couple other, I think one's a fighter and whatever else. But either way, I think sometimes you spend a little too much time on that and you screw yourself. That's the
Since you
reason he
mentioned
gets
that,
kicked.
it's with Roxy. That's the only reason I wanted to mention it.
Yeah.
He does a podcast with Roxy. Not too bad, but
Either way, it's and sometimes I think he spends too much time doing that versus actually training. Because the dude, if he legitimately trained, he could be scary because he does have a legitimately great ground game. Like he's up there. The unfortunate part is there are people in the UFC that have a better ground game than him, and we've seen that in action. That's the reason Hattie got the fucking rocket up his ass because the whole little tiff that those two had and the teabagging incident and whatever versus twerking. God, that was a fucking miserable thing. But either way, he is in the contender spot because he's either going to do well or he's going to shit the bed. There is no in between with him. It's just the way it is. Both of the women's fights on this card can jump right off of a fucking bus and go play in traffic for all I care. Because neither one of them are going to do anything. The premier prelim and Carlos Leal and Chidi and Giacone, not great. It's just it's not it. Like we're getting a hangover from a hangover from a hangover here. There's nothing more to be said about this card. I mean, yeah, the most exciting fight on the card is probably the main event, and that's only because you know those two are gonna go at each other. They're not, neither one of them are gonna back down. They're gonna march forward. Somebody's gonna win and somebody's gonna lose. That's the best thing I can say about that. Because 100%, I like the Sean Strickland of old. Talk shit in the middle of the fight. You know what he's gonna do. Jab, jab, occasional cross, teep kicks, and a whole lot of fucking defense from takedowns. Because he does have a legitimately great defensive wrestling. There's a reason why you don't see him on the ground very often, unless he's sleeping, which only a few people have managed. So, um, that one's exciting just because somebody's gonna get got in that fight, and I'm not sure who it is. But as a whole, this card is meh at best. And it's nothing bad against anybody on the card. It's just the UFC is really dragging its feet on putting something together out there. And I mean, to be fair, I understand with the low numbers of heavyweights, we're not going to get a lot of heavyweight bangers. Unfortunately, because somebody doesn't know how to keep their fucking hands curled, we have a fucking champ that can't fucking defend his title right now because they want to do this, and instead of using the correct gloves in the UFC, because one John Jones bitched about it, they're back to the old ones. Just encourage eye pokes. To be honest, I think eye pokes from now on should be an immediate disqualification. No, not a point, a fucking disqualification. If you can't keep your goddamn hands curled, disqualify those motherfuckers. Fight over, no matter how small the eye poke is. Like I get it. Sometimes you are going to have the incidental, but we need way stricter rules on this right now because it's impeding divisions. It's making fights that could go one way go the opposite because if you can't see correctly, there's no fighter out there that's going to say I can't see unless they really can't. Their vision might be impaired because of an eye poke, but if they can still see a little bit of movement, they're going to fight it out because that's what they're there to fucking do. So it's not a good look. That's the reason why a lot of things are getting hung up right now. And well, UFC seems to be dragging its feet on putting together good cards because, oh, well, we've already got the giant contract with fucking Paramount, so we don't have to do anything special now. We don't have to sell ourselves. This is what, was it a 7-year contract, right? Or 7-year contract. So we have 7 years of dealing with Paramount Plus bullshit. I'll say it. I do not like the way they run their stream. I don't give a shit if you can watch the fight from different angles. Don't give two flying fucks about that. If you don't stop putting fucking commercials in the main cards of what would normally are the numbered events, is what I'll say. What would normally be the fucking pay-per-view. I'm just gonna stop fucking watching. Because I'm to the point where there's certain things you expect as being a fan as long as we have. Main cards of pay-per-views, whether it is in this case a numbered event or whatever the other pay-per-view was at the time, had no fucking commercials. You would get maybe a commercial in between fights, but it was like a thing for a movie where that movie paid them fucking millions and millions of dollars for that spot. Because it's kind of like buying a fucking Super Bowl ad at that point. Stop Paramount bullshit. Because right now we're going to keep getting fed garbage cards and way more fucking just commercials than are entirely necessary. Look, if you're already paying Paramount Plus for the live subscription, ad-free, you should not be getting fucking ads. Period. Doesn't matter what you're watching. If you're paying for an ad-free service, there should be no ads, including live events. I said it. That's exact. If you're paying for that shit, it's false advertisement if that's not what you're getting when you pay for it. That's all I'm saying. Bullshit. But the card is hell, meh at best. I'm moving on before I get any more fucking riled up.
So I will say this. I did test it out on the card 2 weeks ago. On the when the main card, because it's not an option for any prelims that I've seen so far, but when the main card comes on, even on a fight night, and Paramount Plus forces you to switch to the watch live main card section, you can go back to the Paramount Plus homepage on the sports part and click on the multi-view camera. The multi-view camera, I will say, does not have commercials on it for any of the main card. The downside is that when they run commercials like during the co-main event last time, when they do that weird fucking crop in thing and they put the fight in the corner and then run a commercial for the most of it, you still see that part on one of the cameras that are up there, but you also get the view, the unobstructed view of the cage itself, and then each of the coaches' corners. So
Are you
there
hearing the
is that.
coaches' corners over the commercial though?
Yes. You get the coaches' corners exclusively are mic'd up. You get the commentary when the fight is happening, and then when they go to commercial, you get the mics hot from both coaches' corners. So it does override that. I haven't had a chance to test it during a numbered event yet, but 2 weeks from now we'll find out if that works there as well. So
I still say get rid of
it's a
them
pain in the
completely
ass.
during a numbered event. Like
Yeah,
I get
I
it. If
agree.
or the at a bare minimum,
Just for the main card.
the
Just
main
for the main card. You get
main
more
card
than enough
only.
commercials in these, even in the new Paramount era, you get more than enough commercials during the regular fucking prelim broadcast. There shouldn't be anything for the main cards. I completely agree.
Yeah, fuck. Even a main card on one of these fight night, or not even the main card, but the main event should
The
be
main event for
commercial
sure.
free,
We should get
and
corners
you
every
should get
fucking
the
break.
full fucking goddamn right in your face, hearing nothing but the corner work. Look,
Yep.
just being a longtime avid fan, that corner work is huge.
It makes a difference. Yeah.
Like, I want to hear that stuff because you can tell if a fighter comes out different. What the fuck did their corner say? I don't know, because Paramount decided to run an ad over what the fuck they were talking about.
Yep.
It's fucking stupid. It irritates the shit out of me. I don't care so much about the undercards, but the main events, like the co-main, the main, especially on a numbered event, when you have fucking titles and shit on the line,
Yeah, we shouldn't get any fucking
I
commercial
shouldn't have
interruption.
any
I
of that
agree.
bullshit. Just go fuck yourselves right now with a big black dildo, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, no, I agree. That part sucks. But we'll see this weekend. I'm going to confirm and double down and make sure, because I what I ran it 2 weeks ago, I put the regular Paramount Plus broadcast up on the TV and muted it, and then put the multi-camera view here on my computer at my desk, so I could literally compare the two directly, and was confirming that there's commercials on that broadcast and nothing here on the multicam. So if that works again, I'm never watching a regular fucking broadcast on Paramount Plus again. And it's stupid that they're running fucking ads on a service you pay to see ad free. But that being said, this card, I will say there have not been a whole lot of great fights this year. But from a tinfoil hat perspective, it very much seems like the UFC is trying to get people to focus more on the fact that you're not paying for pay-per-views anymore. And the UFC, to their credit, has been very much more outside of the Apex. We've only had one Apex card so far. We've got another one coming in a couple weeks, but they went to Australia already. They're going to Houston. We're going to Mexico City. We're going to London. We're going to Miami. They're outside of the Apex, so I will give them credit for that. But that being said, this is also very much a hangover card from a hangover card, and a good chunk of these fights are absolutely what we like to refer to as contractual obligation matches, because the UFC legally has to offer every fighter on the roster at least 3 matches per year. Sometimes when they say yes, that fight fucking sucked and it was more of a throw something against the wall and see what sticks, and then it has to be put somewhere. So we get shit filled up in prelim spots all over the place, much like this card is here. That being said, there are still a few gems to be potentially plucked from this card. I am very curious about that Yadier Dibali fight versus Jordan Levitt. That one could be spectacular. It could be 15 boring fucking minutes, but there's potential there, and that's something looking at this card. Um, I am curious, if nothing else, because it's always interesting when somebody's has to go matches happen. And in this situation, we've got Jacoby Smith versus the new guy, Josiah Harrell. Josiah Harrell is also 11-0. Both of these gentlemen are 11-0 as a professional. So technically speaking, they should be on relatively even platform grounds here. That being said, Jacoby Smith already has a little bit of UFC experience, and DC like a mosquito in his fucking ear, chopping constantly. So it's going to be interesting to see how that one shakes out. I'm not quite as excited about it, but it is potentially interesting just because of the circumstances that led to it. Ige versus fucking Melky Costa, 50K versus the Dalmatian, is the fight singular that I am excited about on this card, regardless of everything else. The main event, excuse me, has a lot of potential to be a nice car crash. This fight has the potential to be very interesting and a well-rounded fight on both sides, in my opinion. I think Melky Costa versus Dan Ige is going to be the fight of the night, unless something fucking crazy happens. That's the one that I am honestly looking the most forward to. Jeff Neal is always an interesting fighter. He's one of those guys, we like to say he's allergic to boring fights. He breaks out in punches. So him versus the Doctor, who's been on a hell of a fucking run right now, could be a real interesting match. I still honestly feel like Ige versus Costa should have been the co-main event, though. I could be wrong. This is one of those situations I would be happy to be wrong and have those dudes put on a spectacular co-main event, but it just kind of feels, looking at going into this event, like Ige versus Costa might be a little bit better of a fight. That being said, the main event is gonna be a fucking car crash. It's two dudes who and how to quit. Um, Fluffy can be hit. Strickland can be choked the fuck out. There's clear and present options for both of these guys to sweep the other one real quick, but they are both equally well-rounded enough that if Strickland plays intelligent takedown defense and Fluffy keeps his fucking guard up and doesn't stick his foot in the tire with Sean Strickland, this could be a solid 25-minute back and forth. It really could. That's one of the reasons why I feel like Ige versus Costa could be a little more exciting. It's 15 minutes one way or another. at the max, but I don't think that fight goes 15 minutes. I really don't. I don't think there's going to be judges in Ige versus Costa. There is a chance Strickland could catch Fluffy and knock him out. There is equally as much of a chance Sean throws a sloppy fucking teep. Fluffy puts him on his ass and chokes him out in round one because Sean comes in too fucking cocky, too worried about being funny on social media and on the microphone. And Fluffy just chokes him the fuck out in round one because he just doesn't come in serious enough. There is, in my opinion, an equal possibility that both of these dudes are watching what the other one is posting on social media and letting it fuel them, and they are both going to come in ready to fucking kill, and we get a hard 25-minute main event Saturday night. The problem is both of these guys realistically have the possibility of coming in shit in the bed. We get another fucking Manel Cop situation where it's angry chihuahuas, angry chihuahuas, angry chihuahuas. You take the leash off and then they just do circles for the whole fucking time and nothing really happens. I feel like there's a small possibility that might happen in the main event, but we will see. There is plenty of potential for interesting fuckery on this card. So we will have to see how that shakes out. But that's what I got.
Appreciate you, boys. Think we did the best we could to paint this picture in a good light.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Much appreciated, sir. That being said, that will bring us to the only segment of the show that does require its own individual disclaimer. So, if you will, Tapology.com in no way, shape, or form supports, sponsors, or endorses the I'm No Joe podcast. Yet. That being said, they do have the option to go onto their website, make yourself a free account, and make fantasy MMA picks like we do here on the show. They even let you make groups on there, so we made one. It's called I'm No Bookie, all one word, or Group 965, however you need to find it. The group is open to the public. You are welcomed and encouraged. Make yourself an account, join the group, and then let us know who you are, and we will hold your picks accountable with our picks in a little segment that we call Tapology with TJ.
All right, I'm going to get this out of the way right off the get-go. I spaced putting in picks last week. And guess what? I have this inkling feeling that I may have done that on purpose. Because I felt like I missed a week while I was on vacation, right? Didn't pay the price for it. Perfectly all right, because nobody else got to put them in. Come back. Smack a first place. Forget to put my picks in last week. Ironically, this week is when we start the first Grand Prix of the year. Coincidence? Lucky? Maybe on purpose? I don't know. No, I honestly just fucking forgot. But that sounded really good. Anyhow, this week Donna took the top spot home. She fucking rocked it. 11 to 13 correct, 740 points. Just way up there. There wasn't anybody else in fucking sight. And the next closest would have been Christian sitting at 10 with 655. Almost a 100-point gap. That is a pretty fucking impressive run by Donna there. Hopefully she shits the bed this week, because Grand Prix and all. Now, unfortunately, I can no longer say somebody was cheating off of somebody's homework because Vindog did take the bottom spot, a 7 of 13 correct. Now, to be fair, that means everybody in the group who put in picks was over the 500 mark. Can't say myself because I automatically get a 0. It's kind of like turning in homework. If you don't turn it in, you don't get a grade, you get a 0. So, everyone else, though, over 50%. Well done. Pat yourselves on the back. So going into this, for those of you that are listening to the audio format, you're too fucking late. You missed the goddamn invite. Why weren't you on Tapology sooner? Let us know who you are. You get the invite to the Grand Prix. You get a pat on the back when you do well. Or if you're like Vindog this week, you get told you tripped over your dick and ran it over with a steamroller. Even though, to be fair, he was over 50%. Those aren't bad fucking numbers. And just luck of the draw. Now, this week, we've got to get our shit together. Because if we do not, we're going to be off to a really bad start. And sometimes coming back from a really bad start is very fucking rough. Because let me tell you what, with this one, there is what? We've got oh no, excuse me, 8 events in total coming up here. So if you get off to a shit start here, yeah, you can pull yourself out. But if it was, and it's still a tight window to pull yourself out starting the shit shot because, I think our last one of last year was, I think it was 5 events or something like that. You get off to a shit start in one of those, there's no coming back. So really got to lock in this week. February 21st, coming to you from Houston, fucking Texas. Ironically, no Black Beast on this card, which kind of a bummer. But when he's in Texas, to be honest, he shits the fucking bed bad. So I mean, I'm not even mad that he's not on the card. It's probably in his best fucking his best interest that he's not. Um, let's get into some of these some of this card here for the 21st, which would be Saturday here. Now, I'm going to go off of, let's take a peek here and see what we've got available this week. No bet MGM. We're going to use Caesars this week. Okay, because, why not? There are a couple wider odds on the card here. So I'm going to cover a lot because it's not all coin flippy like we've seen in the past. The vast majority of the main card is coin flippy, but there's quite a few on the undercard that are not. So we're going to cover those first. Alden, Correa, and Luis Gruel, or I'm probably martyring that fucking name, but I don't care because they're nobodies. Alden getting a minus 370 favorite over Luis in a plus 290 underdog. All right. Now, I want to make a very strong point of this next one that I bring up. There's a reason why we said this fucking fight is trash. Every one of us. Jocelyn Edwards and Nora Cornola. Jocelyn coming in as a minus 330 favorite, which, to be honest, is a huge fucking surprise. Nora getting a plus 260 underdog. Way wider than I think it should be, but they're both fucking trash, so it really doesn't matter. Another one that we talked about earlier, and that is the Jordan Levitt and Devalier. Devalier coming in as a minus 420 favorite over Jordan Levitt in a plus 320 underdog. Look, even the odds makers know Jordan Levitt is a fucking liability. It's either he's going to do well or he's going to shit the bed. So we're going to err on the side of caution and say, yeah, he's going to shit the bed. Now, the one that was slightly wide on the main card was the Jacoby Smith and Josiah Harrell, excuse me. I'm trying to over enunciate fucking names right now. Anyhow, Jacoby coming in as a minus 300 favorite. Josiah a plus 240 underdog. Not super wide, but a little bit. There's one other one that is, I say, slightly wide, and it's very slightly wide, almost coin flippy, and that is going to be the Dan Ige and Meli Costa. Costa coming in as a minus 225 over Dan 50K. Ige at a plus 185. Not super wide, but it's a little bit. Now, for the widest odds on the card this week, it is going to be in the other fucking women's fight. Go figure. Carly Giudice, Juliana Miller. Miller coming in as a plus 600 underdog. Giudice coming in as a minus 900 favorite. Trash fight. Doesn't matter. Neither one of those girls are fucking anywhere near the rankings at this point. So just so you know, you could bet that either way and nobody's gonna bat a fucking eye. As per usual, we'll hit the co-main main. Jeff Neal, Euros Medic. Jeff Neal coming in as a minus 225 favorite over Euros Medic. The doctor coming in at a plus 185 is a little wild to me considering he's been on quite the tear Like he seems to have turned himself back around. Like I honestly think those could be flipped, but who am I to judge? It's not like we watch fights all the time. Then your main event in Fluffy Hernandez and Sean Strickland. Anthony Fluffy coming in as a minus 275 favorite over the former champion Sean Strickland, a plus 225 underdog. To be fair, Strickland comes in as an underdog a lot. A fucking lot. To be honest, if we all went by where they did his underdog rankings, he would have never become champ. So take that all with a grain of salt. If you are a bettor, do yourself a favor. Don't bet the fucking house. But if you do and you win big, by all means, come over, join the Patreon, sling some fucking money our way. We wouldn't be mad about it. Help us get more done. I could probably use a new camera, maybe a facelift. I don't know if you're into watching this. If you're just listening, maybe some sort of voice restructure, voice training. Yeah, those kind of things. Or just a new computer in general. But it'll help everybody involved. Although I would say maybe the first thing we would do with that is we would send Christian the money to get an absolute fucking computer set up rather than the iPhone fucking sitting there. Sorry. Unneeded stray bullets. My bad. But for the rest of you that are not a member of the Patreon and you are some cheap sons of bitches, come over and join Tapology. It is absolutely free. We know you like free shit. Otherwise, you'd be a member of the Patreon. So you cheap bastards, come join us, make some picks, have some fun with us. It is totally worth it. Doesn't cost you a dime. And to be honest, worst comes to worst, you shit the bed one week and we call you out if we recognize your scrutiny. That's all I got this week. We'll be back with more next week because there are fights next week. In fact, I think we have them for the next 3 or 4 weeks before there's a break. Oh, next 6 weeks before there's a break. So yeah, and we'll see you next week as we talk about another hangover card. Before we get another semi-hangover card, and then another hangover card, and another, and another, and another. Just saying, this all Paramount deal is not all it's cracked up to be. We'll see you all next week on this segment.
Thank you very much, sir. Always much appreciated. That being said, that is going to be all we have got for this particular episode. But as is pretty much always the case when we wrap things up around here, that is not the end of the fun because Friday mornings, pretty much every Friday morning, he's over here. This gentleman down here and his other half dropped their podcast, the Slow Bake and Contemplate podcast, over there on Spreaker.com. Links down to their podcast, their social media, and their channel over on the I'm No Joe Discord server as well. Go click on it and tell them how great they're doing.
I appreciate you, brother. Don't forget, you got to show the brother TJ some love there too. Brother Golf T Vapes, everything that he's got going on still should be down in the description. I know the brother's not gonna be consistently streaming, but maybe someday he'll come back to the streaming services. You gotta show him some love any fucking ways. Go over, follow TJ's shit, show him some love.
Thank you, sir. Now, on that note, I do want to give everybody a little heads up. There is something in the works right now. If you're not sure about what time of year it is, we're just a couple months out from Easter. Just because I've stopped streaming does not mean I'm going to stop helping kids. So there is something that I am going to be working on here shortly on getting another live stream where you can come see my beautiful face and donate so I can get some bikes for kids. We've kind of, as a whole, for what we do during Easter, we've kind of tapered that down a little bit, and we're solely focused on bikes and meals for needy families for Easter this year. So the missus has already got her stuff up, so I'll be short behind it and setting something up. And also, I think in conjunction with that, I will do a Wednesday show that week that we decide to do that. Because I've been putting it off and putting it off. It's going to be the farewell to my channel. I am I'm done with that. We're moving on. In fact, if you do tune in that day when I do set that up, I'll let everybody know here the week before, because I am going to be giving away a whole bunch of shit. In fact, it's probably going to be given away during the donation alone. I will get fucking addresses, and I might have a little bidding war just to give the whole lot of everything to somebody who is in need or who just wants to donate for shits and giggles. But anyhow, enough about me. During that meantime, where I'm not streaming anymore, that means there's a whole Wednesday free and a bunch of other days in the week that are free as well. Meter does many things. So if you didn't know, you go click down below, Linktree/the meter does many things, or Linktree/I'm no Joe. That'll get you to each and every one of the many things that the meter does do. And kill all that extra time now that there's an extra space in your work week. Go ahead. Enjoy it. I constantly see new things popping up and going out over there. I'm just saying, there may or may not already be fights in the works over there. You just got to tune in and watch.
Thank you very much, sir. Much appreciated as well. If you are a fan of the Devil's Lettuce, definitely click on the link down below. There is all sorts of fun and fuckery over on that channel. That being said, as far as things go over here, if you are new, first and foremost, thank you very much for tuning in. We try and do this show pretty much every Thursday when there are fights to talk about. We try and go live around 9 p.m.-ish Central Standard Time. And the show is dual broadcast on youtube.com/@I'mNoJoe and twitch.tv/I'mNoJoe as well. The replays get left up there as long as both platforms allow. If you miss us, you can always catch the replay. If you miss us intentionally, we understand that as well. We also own mirrors for that reason. The week after we go live, the all audio version of the show goes up to anchor.fm/I'mNoJoe. All of that is free to partake to your podcast consumption platform of choice. Google, Spotify, Apple, whatever you use, it's out there. It is free. It is on YouTube. It is free. It is on Twitch. It is free. But if you really like what we get up to around here, first and foremost, make sure you're subscribed, your notifications are turned on, and you give us a damn thumbs up. I think we earned it. But if you really want to go above and beyond, the best way to do that, patreon.com/I'mNoJoe. For as little as $1 a month, as much as you are comfortable giving, you help us do what we do around here. And in exchange for your patronage, first and foremost, we put your name at the end of every single broadcast on this stream so that everyone knows how fucking awesome you are for helping us do what we do. But more than that, subscribing at any level to the Patreon gets you access to the unaired, unairable content. All the good stuff that got us kicked off of OnlyFans on the podcast, that's all over on the Patreon. Not to mention, we are now also doing Patreon exclusive content as well, just for the folks who support us at any level as well. So if you got a couple bucks and you like the kind of crazy shit we get up to around here, you're definitely going to want to check out the Patreon because it's even crazier and there's less censorship over there. So it's worth the time, I promise you. That being said, if you like what we get up to around here, make sure you put that thumbs up in there and you turn your notifications on. But on the other side of that coin, if you don't like what we get up to around here, first and foremost, what the fuck are you doing this deep into a podcast that you didn't enjoy? Give it a thumbs down and then go fuck yourself. We won't even dispute it. That being said, that is all we have got for this particular episode. So until next time, boys and girls, don't let ignorance stop you. You can root for anything.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning. In fact, it was a little bit frightening. How do I say goodbye?